Welcome back to the Sports and Movies podcast. As promised, I am going to be talking about one, Beverly Hills Cop, and two, Clipped. Those are two things. And then also, Bronny James made his debut in the Summer League, and it was uneventful. So I'm definitely going to end on that. But welcome back. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing to the podcast. First things first, Beverly Hills Cop. I did see it, and it was good. It was really, really good, and I was definitely entertained by it. The one thing I will say is it is definitely the worst of the franchise. And you're saying, well, wait, I just said it was really good. Well, all of the Beverly Hills Cops were really good. In fact, Beverly Hills Cop 1 came out in 1984. Beverly Hills Cop 2 came out in 1987. I'm telling you right now, as far as comedy is concerned, nothing is beating Eddie Murphy in the 80s. He had a great run. I also recently watched Trading Places, but he had Trading Places. He had Coming to America. He had The Golden Child. He had Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2. It was a legendary run for Eddie Murphy in the 80s, not to mention his stand-up. There's nothing that even comes close to Eddie Murphy in the 80s. So that's why, I said Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2 are so great, because they are, just because, he was on a hot streak in the 80s. And that's not taken away from Beverly Hills Cop 3, which came out in 94, I believe. And then this one, obviously in 2024. But speaking of Beverly Hills Cop 3, if you notice at the end of Beverly Hills Cop 3, Axel Foley, Eddie Murphy's character, is in a relationship with the woman that he met, who's the ride operator at Wonderworld, which was the central focus of that movie, right? So he's in a relationship. And that plays a part coming into this film because he has a daughter who's a central focus of the movie. And her name is Jane, and she's an attorney in Beverly Hills. So obviously that relationship with the mother, he was estranged. She got divorced, and he went back to Detroit, and she stayed behind. The daughter stayed behind in Beverly Hills with her mom, and she became an attorney. And she's a central focus of this film. And I don't want to give any more spoilers away, but she's definitely a central focus of the film. And the actress that played her was actually really good. If I could look it up really quick. The official title of this film is, by the way, Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. But the actress who plays her is Taylor Page. She does a good job, and she actually looks very similar if you look for a blend between her and the actress who plays Eddie Murphy's love interest in Beverly Hills 3. She actually looks very similar to that. So it's an excellent casting on the part of the casting department. But all the old characters are back. Judge Reinhold plays Billy Rosewood. John Ashton is Chief John Taggart. He came back as Chief. But some new faces. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is a key detective, and Kevin Bacon is in it, and he is the villain. But it was a really great movie. It's just that the other three installments, for me, some of the greatest comedy movies of all time. So that's why I have this ranked as third in the franchise. But it's still worthwhile, especially since it's it's on Netflix. If you have the time, sit down and watch the movie, because it's great. It's going to be pretty good laughs, but then also it's like a serious film with great acting as well. So I definitely, if I were to give it a grade, I would say it's a solid B plus. But definitely worth the wait. Now, as far as Clipped, switching focus to Clipped, the series about how Donald Sterling lost the Clippers with his racist remarks, right? Clipped was pretty good. I'll give it a B minus, if not a C plus. And it's interesting. One thing I want to talk about is the casting. The casting is very interesting because on the one hand, at the top, with the top billed cast, the actor who plays Lawrence Fishburne plays Doc Rivers, and Ed O'Neill plays Donald Sterling, Ed O'Neill from Modern Family, or if you're old enough, from Married with Children, right? And those two are hits, right? Great acting, great casting. Lawrence Fishburne's perfect to play Doc Rivers, and Ed O'Neill's perfect to play Donald Sterling, as well as Jackie Weaver plays Shelley Sterling, and she was great. She gave a great performance, and she fits the bill very, very well. This unknown to me actress, Cleopatra Coleman, plays the mistress, V. Stiviano, who ends up being the downfall of Donald Sterling after his racist remarks. She records it and releases it to TMZ, and that's ultimately how he lost the team, right? But as far as casting for the team, it was awful. And I understand this being based on real people, that it's very difficult to get it right, because you have to get an actor, especially to play a basketball player who's 6'9", 6'10", or even in the case of Chris Paul, it was just awful. It was not a great portrayal. Perhaps the worst was J.J. Redick's guy playing him as Charlie McElveen. He was just awful, and it didn't fit in any way, shape, or form. So it's really hard. But on the other end, it's a terrible casting, and it almost ruins the film how bad of a casting they did for the basketball team. But then for the top billed cast, they sort of hit right on the money with Ed O'Neill as Donald Sterling and Lawrence Fishburne as Doc Rivers and this woman Cleopatra Coleman as V. Stiviano. So it's an interesting dichotomy there with the casting. But I didn't think it needed to be a 6-episode series. It could have been a nice 100-minute film, and they could have crammed all the information in, because to be honest, I stopped watching after episode 4 because I already knew how the exploits. I know they have a little bit of creative license because I was listening to Matt Barnes' podcast, All the Smoke, and he was saying how, they sort of bended the truth a little bit. The White Party was accurate, but, some of the other details, they had a little bit of creative license to it to embellish the story a little bit. That's fine. That's to be expected. But it wasn't really that lengthy of a story to put into a 6-episode miniseries. No. You could have did a nice 100-minute film and released it, and it had been done. So with that and the casting, I give it a B-, if not a C+. It's definitely something that you might want to watch, because I was entertained, especially if you're not familiar with the story. It's sort of an interesting story in American sports, but it wasn't anything special. So I'll give it a B- or a C+. And then final note, I want to end on Bronny James. He obviously made his debut with the Lakers in Summer League. He had 4 points. He kind of underwhelmed, but then again, that's right on trend for him. USC, he averaged 4 points off the bench. But then this is not necessarily a negative tone on my critique of his performance, because he did some good things, and he does have good athleticism. He got a nice little steal, a little assist, a couple rebounds, and he can be, a contributor. Can he be like an Avery Bradley with his type of athleticism? Yeah, he can. And he can definitely, come in off the bench, be an energy guy, run around and chase guys his size like Steph Curry or Jalen Brunson, play, decent defense, give him a different look in whatever defensive scheme, J.J. Redick puts together. But I think he can definitely be a decent contributor. Is he going to be an all-star? No, probably not. But he can definitely, get in the game and be somewhat of a positive contribution for the Lakers. But that's it. I just wanted to hop on really and give my review of Clipped and Beverly Hills Cop 4. Both give my recommend. Definitely go watch it. But don't expect too much, especially out of Clipped. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. As always, I appreciate it. And you stay classy. Take care.